Welcome to the 2D Web Solution Show, the podcast that provides freelancers who are wanting to make more with WordPress, the solutions to create a plan, take action, and experience success. And now, here are Arelthia, Phillips, and Carron with their next 2D Web Solutions episode.
Thank you for being here for episode 31.
Today's topic is contact methods. We're going to talk today all about the different methods and options for ways that potential clients can reach out to you. So Arelthia, I'd like to start out by asking the question, who needs to contact you? Can you kind of give us a definition of what those types of people are?
Okay, so we're talking about who needs to contact you. We're talking about leads or potential customers, someone who may purchase from me at some point or purchase from you at some point. Client, someone who pays you for your services. Customer, someone who pays you for your products. We're talking about potential partners, someone who you may collaborate in business with at some point in time, or a coworker or a partner, someone who you already collaborate with. And this is important because we need to make it, because not each one of these don't contact you in the same way.
Right, and it's important to understand and really identify what the distinctions between them are. So I thank you for providing us with that information. It's going to be very helpful as we break this down.
So Kerry, what are some of your contact processes?
Well, the very first thing that comes to mind for me when I think about how my clients are going to contact me is my contact page on my website. I use my website as a central hub, and how we have been telling people to have their own website and the importance of it in previous episodes. So I actually live by that rule, and I have a contact page. And there's a number of things that I put on my contact page. All of them are not mandatory, but all of them are possibilities depending on what type of business you're in. So I always include my name on my contact page. I have a regular snail mail mailing address. I use an email address form. Some of the other things that you might want to include on your contact page would be things like a map if you're doing local marketing, a telephone number if you allow your clients to contact you directly. Personally, I don't give out my cell phone number on my webpage only because I do not want to be woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be at their beck and call. Only very special clients get that privilege. So there's a few other things, but Arelthia, I'm going to let you add those in. What other things would you potentially perhaps want to include on your page?
Okay, now depending on the type of customers or the type of clients that you have, you may want to have a fax number that's available to them. And again, that's dependent upon the type of clients that you have, the people you deal with. Because if that's the way that they like to communicate, a fax number is going to be something you're going to want to have. That does not mean you have to have a fax machine, because there are different online services and way you can do it, even with just your Google. Like if you have a Google Drive account or Google Docs account, you can have a fax number. And social media links. You want to potentially have your social media links for people to contact you through your social media networks. If and only if you are active on those networks, okay? Because if people send you a message on a social media account and you're not active there and it takes you a week to get to it, that's going to cause you problems.
Yeah, that's a great point, Arelthia. Thanks for that. So do you use any other types of processes, contacting processes with your customers other than a contact page?
Also, my actual customers and my clients, they actually have my personal email address, or not my personal email address, but my business email address. Okay. And so they can email me in that way. Also, Kerry, you use like a support portal type
I do.
thing?
Yes, I do. I have a support ticket system that I use for my clients. And sometimes, depending on which website I'm trying to get them to funnel into the support system, my contact page will have a form that asks the questions, what type of help do they need? And depending on which answer they provide, the entry for that particular form will be routed to a particular area, many of which go to the support ticket systems.
Okay. All right. So Kerry, now here's a very important question. How do you respond to contacts that are outside of your normal process?
Well, you touched on one of them, and one of them is the social media messages. And I do manage a number of social media pages for a number of my clients, and therefore I am responsible for responding to many of the input that gets or replies from other people who are visiting their social media pages. So that's one of them. I'm also very active in a number of Slack channels, and so people can contact me through the or the chat windows or the rooms within the Slack channels. And cold email messages, of course. Every once in a while, an email will slip through and it'll come into a place that is not through the support ticket, but I will get it in a business email, and I will have to reply that way. Now, when I get those type of cold email calls, though, what I try to do is reroute them back into the system that I have set up specifically for support. How about you, Arelthia?
Okay, so I like to have like canned replies that direct them back into my process. Also, sometimes I just respond with an impromptu message back, depending on what the question is. And I found that a lot of times with those impromptu messages back, especially if they come to me on social media, maybe it's for one of my products or something, that gives me a way of saying, okay, yeah, maybe I need to add this to my FAQs or my documentation. And I like to think at first, at one point, to be honest, Kerry, it used to frustrate me. But now I've gotten to the point where I appreciate it. Like, okay, you're there, I'm there, you can find me, you communicate with me. Okay, I'm gonna use that because you needed this information. And so anytime I get those type of contacts outside of my normal process, I take it as like a learning experience for me. And I help to improve the information that I'm already providing with my customers so they don't have to seek me out in these other channels. Now, Kerry, these cold email messages, the ones that where people want to, hey, let's partner up or let's work together. How do you handle those?
You know, I don't like to close doors in people's faces. So if it is a professionally handled email and the English is proper and it is potentially someone that is in a related field, I will usually impromptu reply back to them with a generic type of message. You know, thank you for contacting me. I'm really not interested at this time, because I want to keep that door open, because I may stick it into a reference area and I may end up needing to outsource with that kind of a client or customer in the future, or potential partner for that matter. So I reply back to that, and that's just, I like to be personable, and that's how you start relationships, and they can only be developed from there. How do you handle them?
It depends on what it is. A lot of times I'll reply back in the same way, just a canned reply back that currently I'm not in need of their service. Or sometimes, depending on what it is, I'll ask them about it. I'll ask them for more details, you know, especially when people contact me, hey, I've been getting these a lot lately. Hey, we like the plugin you have here. We'd like to purchase your plugin. And so my response, with all the stuff going on in WordPress, my response is, oh, okay, can I see like what other plugins do you own or have you purchased? And the interesting thing about that, Kerry, is a lot of times all of a sudden I don't hear anything else after that.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I find that as well. People will inquire about something and then they aren't replying back. Well, when that happens, a couple of things may have happened. Number one, they were just mass emailing and it went out to just anybody and everyone, and they were just trying to hit numbers to get a reply.
Mm-hmm.
The second option is perhaps they have become overwhelmed with their replies and they are just in fact too busy to reply at the moment. So in cases like that, I might set it aside, maybe not delete it necessarily out of my email, but put it, to read later and see if anybody replies back. So I think we've hit on a number of great things. I wanted to go back a little bit. You mentioned that things can change. And so I do think that it's very important to, on occasion, go back and take a look at the things that you're putting on your contact page and how you're replying to people and where you're replying to people, because just like you said, they are there and you are there, so you may as well take advantage of that. And if that is, in fact, where you are attracting your clients, then that is an eye-opening opportunity to take advantage of as you can.
Yeah. And I think that leads back to when you talked about funneling them into your communication process. So it's about getting them from that social media platform back to your central hub. And so, Kerry, with that, what is our action plan for our audience today?
Well, just like in a few of our past podcasts, our recent podcasts, today we want to review and update your contact processes. So that's the whole shebang, guys, not just your contact form, not just your contact page, but really take a deep look at how your clients or potential customers or even potential business partners are contacting you, and develop a process that you can use over and over again so that you're not wasting your time.
Great. Okay, so guys, we want to thank you for listening, and we invite you to visit 2dwebsolutions.com to leave us your questions and comments. We know that your questions and comments help us and others in our audience.
So thanks again for being here. Now go out and create your plan, take action, and experience your success.
Kerry and Arelthia invite you to start your plan by taking this action. Submit your questions by visiting their website and subscribe to their 2D podcast at 2dwebsolutions.com.